Hello class, my name is Mr. Mikasa and welcome to the 2020 to 2021 school year. I am Mr. Mikasa. I will be your guys' 7th grade computers instructor for this school year, and today's video lesson is a rundown on my school's class syllabus for your guys' 7th grade computers class. So as you guys are fully aware, we are doing remote learning. You guys will be doing your lessons as well as your assignments from home using distance learning to do that. And of course, because of that, we'll be breaking down all of our lessons using videos, and of course you guys will have assignments you guys will work on. And this is pretty much what you expect from my class in terms of my video lessons. Pretty much I've done a quick time screen recording on my laptop, so you can see here it looks up my entire laptop here, so that way you see exactly what I'm looking at as well. The nice part about this, of course, I can use my Promethean software here and I can make annotations on different documents and on different lessons, so that way you guys can see exactly what we're working on. So it kind of makes it a little bit neater, and it makes it really cool for you guys to look at the information that you need to have and to be successful at it. So once again, welcome to the school year, and today's video we'll be talking to you guys about your guys' course syllabus. So once again, you guys can find this document on this lesson on Schoology, and you can download this syllabus using PDF on this one. Now, in case you're wondering what PDF stands for, PDF is an acronym standing for Portable Document Format. Now, the nice thing about this one is that it's a user-friendly for very user-friendly for no matter what kind of cross applications you guys use for your operating systems. So for example, if you're using a Mac, it doesn't matter because Mac operating system can look at PDFs. If you're using a PDF, if you're using a PC, Windows applications can still open up PDFs. If you're using a Apple device like iOS, like for an iPad or for an iPhone, you can still open up this kind of document. If you're using Android devices like an Android tablet or an Android phone, this PDF works for all of it. It's universal, which is a really nice thing about that. So if you want to download that PDF and follow along as I go through this document, that is perfectly fine. And of course, I'll be highlighting different parts which are important to talk about exactly what our class is about. So once again, this is the course syllabus for 7th grade Mass Communications, Technology, and Computer Sciences class. Here's our course syllabus. So, the course description. Mass communications and the resultant development of new technologies have given rise to profound changes in society, transforming how we access and process information, how we communicate with others, and how we address and solve problems. So this is what we'll be focusing on during this course. The 7th grade Mass Communications curriculum will teach students how to use technology to research, collaborate, and execute solutions in order to help address a problem. This course will help students to pose research questions, synthesize answers from multiple credible sources, and present conclusions to an appropriate format. Basically what that means is, can you guys research, solve problems, and then create a product to solve that problem? That's what we'll be doing for our mass communication sources, okay? So this is what the focus on for you guys will be doing for the next 18 weeks in this class for the semester. Now, as always, of course, we will always be working on Colorado Assessment Standards. Colorado Assessment Standards are what the state requires of you in order to learn information within classes. In this case, the Colorado Assessment Standards for this class actually come from 2 different areas. First of all, it comes from reading and writing and communicating, which is your language arts requirement, as well as your computer sciences requirement. For reading, writing, and communicating, we're looking at standard number 1, which is oral expression as well as listening. So this is for all the collaboration and working together and also presenting materials, as well as standard 4, which is researching inquiry as well as designing a solution for it, which is one of your guys' reading, writing, and communicating standards. Specifically, these standards are from the communicating aspect of that course. Next, we'll also be looking at computer sciences because we'll be using computers quite a bit in this class. We'll be using standard number 2, which is computing systems as well as networks, and that will be focusing on for this class for 7th grade. So that's the assessment standards we'll be using from the state in order to help you teach this guys' curriculum. Now, let's talk about our units real quick. So I'll highlight that next. It says this curriculum of the course will be divided up into 3 units, each focusing on a particular aspect of mass communications. Here's what the units are as follows. We'll have Unit 1, which will be Introduction to Schoology and Google Drive. Very, very important since you'll be using both of these materials in order to access your lessons as well as to respond to assignments. Unit 2, which is the MLA bibliographies and citations, another very important one, especially if you guys are doing research-based projects for any one of your guys' classes. And lastly, which is probably the most important one, we'll be looking at Google applications, using things like Google Slides, Google Documents, Google Sheets, so that way you guys can interact with this information and to use these things, all right? So we'll be looking at 2 things for this one. First of all, we'll be looking at the knowledge required to do these things. Knowledge and content knowledge is very, very important to understand what these items are and how to use them. But more than that, though, I'll be focusing primarily on your skills. All right, that's primarily what we'll be working on this one. I do apologize for the sloppiness of my handwriting. I am doing this with a mouse, so I do apologize on that part. So that's what we'll be focusing primarily. Skills are the most important aspect of the things that I'll be teaching in this class, because these skills can be applied universally. So no matter what you're working on, no matter what you're trying to take care of, it doesn't matter, because the skills that I'll be teaching in this class can be applied to your language arts class, it can be applied to your social studies class, your math class, whatever the case may be. And that's what we'll be focusing on primarily for this one. So let's go and move on with our syllabus and continue talking about some of the other things that we need to know about our 7th grade computers class. So first off, text and resources. We do not have a textbook for this class, obviously because we're working on different applications. So what we'll be working on instead, though, is primarily applications for your guys' class. So things like Schoology, Google Drive, as well as Google applications, which are inside of Drive. These are the things that we're working on the most. Now, the nice thing about this is that you don't need a textbook to work on these. All you need is an internet connection and access to them. You guys all have access to Schoology, and you all have Google accounts with Google Drive and applications, so it makes it really, really simple for you guys to work with. Now, this next part here about the Skyview Middle School website, that is more for your parents rather than you. All right, so this is for more of your parents. So if your parents don't want to log on to Schoology and they want to go to my class website instead, I'll be posting up weekly updates about what you guys are working on every single day in my class, as well as all the digital materials required in that as well. So that way your parents don't necessarily go to Schoology and navigate, they can just go to my class website and they see exactly what you guys are working on. So that's the situation there with our text as well as our resources. So moving on, let's go and talk about our methods of assessment real quick, which is probably the most important thing to remember in this class. How am I grading you? Which is probably the most important thing that most kids are worried about. So it says success in 7th grade mass communication, not only based on content knowledge, but by measuring the measuring of technology skills. This is going to be the most important thing we'll be focusing on, are these technology skills. The mass communications curriculum will be assessed the following criterion and specific types of assessment, each assessment criterion. So what ends up going to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is what ends up happening is that I will be giving you guys 4 areas that I'll be looking for. All right, these 4 areas, I'm going to highlight those, are inquiry, design, creation, and evaluation. All right, these are the 4 types of assignments I'll be giving you guys. In an inquiry assignment, things that you'll be looking at are things like research and citation and inquiry, things like unit assessments you guys are working on throughout the years, bibliographies and citations. This is all about the research aspect of what you're working on. The designing aspect are things like outlining, rough drafting, and collaboration. Probably the biggest one here is your collaborating, because you guys will be working with other members of your group, as well as unit assessments as well. So that's another thing you guys will be looking for as well. The creation, which is actually you actually create the product for my class. Things are creating, executing, as well as presenting. Typing club lessons are another one we'll be doing. Yes, typing, because a lot of you guys do not know how to type, so we'll be doing that quite a bit in this class. And same thing with unit assessments as well. So these are the things that you actually literally create in the project, the actual project you guys work on for me as well. And then finally, we have the evaluation phase, where you do reflection, improvement, and emulation. And of course, you guys will then do unit assessments as well. They are all attached to that. Pretty much this class is a projects-based class, which means that most of your assignments will be based on projects that you guys will be working on, the various steps to complete those projects, outlining that project, creating it, and then of course we evaluate it amongst yourselves and how you can improve those projects. That is primarily how you guys are being graded on that. And of course, I will provide rubrics on every single step of this, and I'll talk about that next here when it talks about our grading policy. So now that we're done with that, let's go and scroll down here to the grading policy real quick. So it says here, assignments are graded by using a provided rubric to attach to every assignment. So we'll be using rubrics quite a bit in this class. This rubric will detail the expectations and sophistications required to reach the possible levels of assessment. Quarterly grades are calculated by using the mean. Now, in case if you didn't pay attention to your math class, the mean is the total amount of points generated in a grading period divided by the number of points possible. So for example, let's say that you score 900 points throughout the quarter out of a possible 1,000 points. We divide 900 by 1,000 and you end up with a percentage. In this case, you'd get 90% A in my class. All right, that's an example of how mean works. Now, as for the rubrics, because we talked about that quite a bit in our grading policy, let me go and pull up a copy of that. So let me minimize this real quick. Here's an example we're talking about for our class rubrics. So as you can see, I have one for inquiry, which is one of the types of assessments you'll be doing. I have another one for designing, another one for creation, and another one for evaluation. And you can find these all, of course, in PDF format on my Schoology page. That way you can take a look at those on your own if you want to. In fact, if you want to access that now, you could actually pause this video, open that, and you can follow along with us as this as well. So let's go and talk about the parts of it. So first of all, let's talk about this right-hand column here. So the right-hand column here, which is the most important part, it shows you the score and the letter letter grade attached to that score. So you can see we got 5 to 0 for an F, 6 for a D, 7 for C, 8 for a B, and probably the one that everybody wants to get, which is the 9 to 10 one for an A. So that's going to tell you guys how you guys are being scored. This next part here in the left-hand column, which is this part here, tells you exactly what you need to do in order to earn the score for that class. So for example, if we were to get a 9 to 10, you want to get 100% of the assignment, this is what is required for you. It's required that you, the student, explains and justify the need for a solution to the problem. So explain and justify why your solution works. Next, states and prioritize the main points of the research needed to develop a solution for the problem with minimal guidance, and presents main findings on relevant research. All right. So can you go about the research? Can you do it on your own for the most part? Do you work well with others to find the important information you need to address the problem in order to answer that? That's how you get 100% on the assignment. As opposed to, let's talk about you get a C on this assignment. It says the student outlines the need for a solution for the problem. As you can see, you could outline it, but if you don't explain it though, you're not going to get an A, you'll get a C instead. That's an example of that. State some points of research needed to develop a solution with some guidance. Once again, you're stating some, but not only are you stating it here like you do here, but you prioritize, you address the main points, you talk about the solution that you need to have. You see the difference in the quality we're looking at here for your guys' grade. Another one, outline some of the main findings of the research. All right, let's use sky blue for this one. That's what you need to do to get a C, whereas opposed to an A, you present your main findings, all right? You just outline and just don't actually go further than that. This one, you actually detail it out. So you can see that the level of difference between the two scores and how you're scored that way. Now, for my more astute viewers, some of you guys might notice this little box down here, which is the 11 plus box. This 11 plus box is for extra credit. All right, so yes, I do offer extra credit on some of my assignments, but to get that extra credit, what you have to do is a couple of things. First of all, you have to achieve the requirements above. That requirement being 100%. That's the first thing, okay? If you can't get 100% on the assignment, there's no point in giving you guys extra credit, all right? Because otherwise, what's the point of that? Extra credit being the keyword being extra means that you not only have you met the requirements, but you've exceeded those requirements, okay? And that's what you have. To do that, you must exceed the requirements of the assignment's instructions with additional information. Like I said, keyword being extra here. You're exceeding, going beyond. That's how you guys earn an extra credit opportunity, okay? So in case you're wondering how to earn extra credit, that's how you can do it. So if the opportunity arises, just give it a shot, give it a try it out. Like I said before, extra credit is not available on every assignment. For the assignments that are available though, you can take care of that opportunity if you want to. So this is an example of what your guys' rubrics will look like from my class, all right? So I'm going to close that real quick, go back to our syllabus. Now, this next part we're going to talk about is missing work and late work. We're going to skip that one for now. And the reason why we're skipping those parts is because, like I said before, you guys are doing remote learning. I'm going to be extremely flexible during this remote learning period, so that way you guys can get your assignments completing things. So because of that additional flexibility and collaboration between ourselves, I'm going to skip this for now. When we return back to normalcy, I'll of course talk about that. But for now, though, we're going to skip that part. We're going to go directly to your guys' remote learning as well as instruction piece. And that's going to be more appropriate because that's what you guys are doing right now. So it says Schoology will be used as a delivery system for all three phases of learning and will remain the school's platform for remote learning. 7th grade mass community content will be provided via Schoology. You guys will have class syllabuses for the course, detailing the curriculum and student expectations and any necessary supplies needed for remote learning. So this is what I'm doing for you guys. I will provide daily instruction, interaction, and engagement for you guys. And I will provide posted assignments, discussion response expectations, embedded instructional videos, like this one, and a calendar with due dates and links to resources. So these are the things that I, as the instructor, will be doing for you guys. This is my responsibility for you guys, all right? Now, let's go on and talk about what you are responsible for. So this is you, the students. So students will be responsible and accountable for the following during remote learning. Things like attendance. So for example, if I give a warm-up prompt, I want you to answer that warm-up because that's how I'm taking attendance. And yes, you can be absent from remote learning and it will count against you, so keep that in mind. Participation in class discussion, earning grades on assignments. Students can access their classes during the designated time and hour or when it is convenient for you. This is why we're skipping the late work as well as missing work policy portion, because the big thing here is being flexibility to help you guys out. Most importantly, it is extremely important that students and parents are aware and adhere to due dates and time of assignments. Responses and assessments must be completed and submitted. So once again, communication is going to be very, very important during this time period, you guys, okay? So if for whatever reason you can't work on the assignment due to whatever reason, please communicate that to me ahead of time. I'm going to be very flexible during this remote learning period. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to assist you and to support you during this time period, because we're in kind of like a little crazy situation right now in terms of education. So that's the reason why communication being so important, which is really more important because this is a mass communications class. So that's really going to come into effect. All right. So that's pretty much going to do it for this lesson for your guys' course syllabus for today's lesson. After you guys get done watching this video, move on to my daily expectation for Schoology videos, so that way you can see exactly what I'm expecting you to see every day for the most part in Schoology as well. All right, so that's going to do it for this lesson, you guys. If you have any questions or concerns, please type up your questions in the discussion box below, and I will get to you guys as quickly as possible to help you guys out. Once again, welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. I'm really looking forward to working with you guys for our mass communications class for computers, and I can't wait to get working with you guys. You guys stay classy. You guys stay healthy. We will catch you guys in the next lesson. Peace out, you guys.